Hi everyone, it's Kelly from Kellie's Bead Boutique. So one of the questions that I get asked most often in my store and on my YouTube channel is how do I properly price my jewelry? So that's what I'm going to teach you how to do today. So if you want to learn how to make profit while making your jewelry, come and join me. All right, so you may be wondering, well, why does this person know what she's talking about? Well, I'm going to give you just a little bit of a backstory. So if you don't know who I am, I'm Kelly and I own Kellie's Bead Boutique in Pitt Meadows, British Columbia, Canada. And back in 2003, I opened up my own jewelry business. I didn't intend on opening up a jewelry business. I just started like most people and I started creating a few bracelets and earrings and things like that. And I started getting brave and I approached stores and then I got my first sales rep. And within about 2 years, I was in 80 stores across Canada. I had 10 sales reps, I had a publicist, I had production workers, I had a whole team of people helping me create a very, very successful line of jewelry. And one of the things that I learned very early on is that in order to make money, you have to get some profit somewhere. And so I developed a formula so that I actually made money. So that's what I'm going to teach you how to do today. So I'm going to try really hard. I'm not very tech savvy when it comes to these videos. I just kind of do what I do. But I'm going to try really hard to put somewhere in here a little card of my formula so it's actually written out and you can see it. I may put it in the description box below, but I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do. So if I do manage to get one, I'll pop it in here after I've done this whole little spiel. The first thing I want you to know is that you need to know your value. Now, what I'm going to say might sound sexist, and it's not meant that way, but I find that women often do not know their value. When men come into my store, they seldom ask how much anything is. They just buy what they want, they create it, and they sell it. And often they sell it for way more than a woman would. And I'm not sure what it is, but women tend to want to undervalue themselves. So I want you to think hard about that before you start pricing your jewelry. Know your worth and know your value and make sure that you're not on that race to the bottom that nobody is going to win. So now the formula that I use is actually really, really simple. Now I'm not saying that this is the right way to do it or the only way to do it. This is just what I did and this is how I made profit in my business. So the first thing that you're going to do when you purchase all your items is you're going to bring them home and you're going to get them all organized. What I would do, so let's say I bought a strand of beads. I would take that strand of beads and I would put them in a container of some sort, maybe a Ziploc bag, and I would write on the top of the bag where I bought them from, so that when I wanted to replace them, I would know where to go back and find them. I would also write the price that I paid for that strand of beads on there. I would add up how many beads were in that bag. I would also cost out individually how much each bead was, so I knew that if I used 2 beads, exactly what that price was. So by being really organized, it will help you understand where your money's going. So make sure that you price out your jump rings and your head pins and all those little things that might only be 5 cents or 10 cents or $1. Make sure that you know how much everything costs. So now today we're going to make a pair of earrings and I'm going to cost them out. So I'm going to take my head pins and the beads that I use and the ear wires that I use and I'm going to price those all out. And those earrings are going to come to $3.40. Now I'm going to take that $3.40 and I'm going to multiply it by 2.5. So now you might be wondering why I've taken that $3.40 and multiplied it by 2.5. Most people only just double their prices. One of the reasons that I marked my pieces up 2.5 times is to factor in for all those little things that you don't get paid for. Your business cards, the cost of your camera, and all that extra stuff that gave you just a little bit extra. Also, we tend to want to give our friends and family discounts, which is a nice thing to be able to do. If you've only doubled your piece, you really don't have a lot of profit built in there. And if you give a discount, you're taking away most of your profit. So by factoring then in that extra 50%, you'll give yourself a little bit more money to make on the end of it. So now we've got those earrings at $3.40, which is my cost, and I'm going to multiply that by 2.5. And that comes to $8.50. So that is how much those earrings cost me to make. Now I need to factor in some labor. So now what I'm about to tell you about labor rates can be very controversial, but I believe that it's really important to charge a labor rate. One is, if you're not charging labor, then this is just simply a little hobby and you're really not intending on it being a business. It also undervalues people that are needing to make a living wage. So even if you're only using $10 an hour, please make sure to charge out a little bit of labor. I actually charge $50 an hour because I took a lot of classes and spent a lot of money on tools and all sorts of things, and I felt like I was worth it. So that was my labor rate. But today we're going to work on a $20 an hour labor rate. So let's say the piece that we just made, those little pair of earrings, took us 10 minutes to make. So at $20 an hour, that's 33 cents a minute. So I'm going to take the 10 minutes that it took me, multiply it by the 33 cents a minute, and I come up with $3.33. So now, to price out my jewelry, I'm going to take the $3.33 that was my labor. I'm going to take the $8.50, which is my cost, and I'm going to add those two together for a total cost of $11.83. Now that's the price that you should be charging for your piece of jewelry, is $11.83. It was a really easy formula, but there's something that I think you really need to look into, and that is perceived value. There is no way that I would have ever sold a pair of earrings for $11.83. I used sterling silver when I made my pieces, so it had a little bit more value into it, so I knew I could really jack up my prices. So I looked at perceived value. So I would look at the pair of earrings and I would think, well, how much do I think I can actually get for that? And often it would come in, say, something like $36.99 or $39.99. So look at perceived value when you're coming up with your piece. So if I had a pair of earrings that costed out at $11.83, I would likely charge $19.99 for them. That's a fair price. Most people are going to pay for it, and you're actually going to make a little bit more money on your earring than maybe you would on something else. So now that we've come up with our $11.83 price, that is actually our wholesale price. If you're going to be selling wholesale to stores, that's the price that you would charge them. If you're selling retail, then we can do a whole other sort of thing. So you have to decide, do I want to just do wholesale or do I want to do retail? I did wholesale, but I also had some retail pricing factored in. The wholesale is the price that we just came up with. Retail is double that. Information has helped you. It's not a really hard, complicated formula. And if you have any questions, please make sure to ask. I always get lots of questions, and I do answer every single comment that ever comes in. I spend a lot of time doing that, but it's something I feel is really important, is to acknowledge that you've taken time out of your busy day and life to watch me and whatever kind of information or whatever tutorial I'm giving you for the day. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it's made it a little bit easier for you. I'll make sure to try and put some little examples throughout here so that you can actually see what my formula looks like. I want you to be super profitable if you're making some jewelry, and I hope that what I've taught you today really does help. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit that like button. Leave me a comment. As I said, I do love to hear from everybody. And please make sure to subscribe to my channel. It really does help it out. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on the next one.